What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you guys are having a great day today. Today we are on the test server here, and we will be doing a playtest on the brand new champion Kroz Wallbreaker. He is going to be part of the Ogren tribes here, and he's going to be a Spirit Affinity attack-based champion. Now, you guys can kind of tell from his aesthetics, which looks pretty cool, that he might have something to do with bombs, as you know, seen here with his big bomb hand. Just checking out his base stats here, 110 base speed. That's really nice to see. That's really high, especially for a damage dealing champion. 1454 for the base attack, not particularly insanely high, especially for a champion with damage scaling off of attack. Let's check out his kit here real quick. His A1, pulverizing pummel, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of decreasing the detonation countdown of all bomb debuffs on the target by 1 turn. This A1 will most likely detonate reduce at least once. It also has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff on the target for 1 turn. If you fully book him out, then it's going to be 50% on everything, and that 50% will apply 3 times here for the first part of his ability. Pretty decent A1. Obviously, you get, a stun chance, and then of course the bomb detonation reduction is going to work well with the rest of his kit. His A2 here, Battlefield Sapper, 5-turn cooldown down to 4 turns when fully booked. Books up to 100% chance of placing 2 bombs on each enemy that detonate after 2 turns. It's a place ability, so affinity does not matter. No hit involved here. Fills this champion's turn meter by 25% for each enemy with a bomb debuff. In arena, you're going to be facing 4 enemies, so you're going to get a maximum of 100% turn meter. Keep in mind that on the test server right now, we have this random book here that says damage 10%. It's not a hit. So this is a mistake. We brought this up with Plarium, and they said that they'll probably remove this one book. So it's just going to be debuff chance, and then cooldown reduction. Now, in my preview video, I compared this ability to Nishak, which has basically a very similar ability, except it's an on-hit effect. So affinity will play a role there, but it gives you an extra turn right away. Whereas Kroz here requires you to be quite ahead in turn meter for you to get the extra turn. So it's no guarantee that you're going to get an extra turn right after this. And you guys will see in the playtest how this guy fares without the extra turn. But let's check out the rest of his kit here. Is A3, Mangonel Maul. 4 turns down to 3 turns when fully booked. Fully books up to 100% chance. AoE attack has a 100% chance of decreasing the detonation countdown of all bombs by 1 turn. Also has a 100% chance of landing block active skills for 2 turns. Now this is really important, right? So obviously the way the kit's supposed to cycle through is you place this, get the turn meter, and then the turn meter pushes you into this, and then you reduce the turn detonation count by 1. And then the enemy takes a turn and they die. So that would be like the ideal cycle, but it just doesn't work like that in actual practice, and you guys will see from the actual playtest. Block active skill is really good. The idea behind this is if you can land the block active skills, then they won't be able to, cleanse or do anything like that to prevent them from dying from the bombs. Now that all sounds great. Keep in mind this is a on-hit effect, so affinity does matter here as well. In terms of his passive, fills all allies turn meters by 5% each time a bomb debuff detonates. Has a 20% chance of activating an instant turn effect on this champion whenever an ally or enemy is killed by a bomb. Now, I don't particularly see this ally's turn meter filled by 5% each time a bomb debuff detonates being very impactful, because usually when a bomb detonates, you want the bombs to really kill the opponent. It's not like Kroz has many abilities that land bombs. Like his A1 doesn't land bombs, A2 doesn't land bombs, and his A3 doesn't land bombs. His A2 is on a 4-turn cooldown to land bombs. So this is not going to happen too much, and it's such a small turn meter field, it's not super impactful. Also has a 20% chance of activating the instant turn whenever an enemy or an ally is killed by a bomb. So usually when bombs go off and kill somebody, you probably should expect to win the fight. So getting the instant turn back is not super crazy important, because it's kind of like a win more condition. Like, oh, if enemies are dying from bombs, then I'm probably going to win. And in the odd case that you are playing against somebody that is also using bombs, if their bombs go off on your team, sure, if you're not dead and then you can proc this 20% chance of activating your own turn and then you can bomb them back, sure, that odd case, it could be useful. But honestly, I don't think this passive is overly useful. It's more of a win more passive. In terms of his aura here, 30% ally attack in battles. His bombs and damage is scaling off of attack. You can kind of see here as well. Looks like his A2 is not showing the attack, but it is confirmed to be scaling off of attack. Anyways, guys, let's build him out and bring him into some testing areas, and then we'll see what he can do. All right, guys, so this is my Kroz Wallbreaker. I got him in Pinpoint and Stone Skin. So the best thing about Pinpoint is that it grants the wearer one intercept stack at the start of the round. So this kind of protects him from sheep or kind of crowd control. For example, he's landing a lot of debuffs. You never know when the sheep debuff could trigger, and then obviously sheep him back. So having the pinpoint set on him protects him from that. Stone Skin also kind of ensures that he gets a turn, which is really nice. Obviously protects him up to one turn, also protects him from CC and just getting killed right away. So it gives him a chance to get a turn. I don't have a blessing on him. I'm just going to assume that we're not going to have crazy blessings on him, but we can probably look forward to some kind of blessing event for him eventually. Check out my total stats here: 40k HP, 327 speed. Crit rate, crit damage does not matter for him. Resistance does not matter. And then accuracy at 410, 7.4k attack. So for him, you basically only want to focus on attack, speed, and accuracy. You need accuracy to land the bombs. Yes, there's no affinity issues on a touchless bomb A2, but you still need accuracy to land it. The bombs will scale off of attack, and that's it. There's no other way to kind of boost the bomb damage. Crit damage doesn't matter, and I believe the masteries don't even matter. Ignore defense doesn't matter. Weaken can boost the damage, and we can test out the some other ways to boost up our damage. I'm going to show you the masteries here. I went down to Eagle Eye for some extra accuracy. Cycle of Magic obviously is pretty nice. Get some extra bombs out there. This is going to be pretty nice as well. Get you some more turn meter. And I went down for the defense tree just for some more turn meter. His A1's also kind of good, especially with the stun and then the detonation timer reduction. Could be good, and it could lead to some pretty funny knockouts. Generally, I just don't think there's too much value in taking the offense tree. Like, you want the extra attack here, but everything else doesn't really matter. So I think it's just going to be Eagle Eye for this guy. Similar to like general support type build. So for him, build him like a support champion. You probably don't need, you don't need Stone Skin on him if he's going first very often. Pinpoint, I kind of like, it's just an extra insurance policy, but honestly, you can just not even use sets on him and just go for full like accuracy perception type build. But like I said, as long as you guys have speed, attack, and accuracy, that's all he needs. He doesn't need crit rate, he doesn't need crit damage, he doesn't even need survivability if you can get him to go first. Now his kit's not going to be too helpful in keeping him alive, so Stone Skin is recommended, of course. He has no cheat death, he has no anything, damage mitigation or anything to keep himself alive, so he really benefits from going first. In terms of relics, I did take the Journal of Necrosis. I figured this is a rare relic and most people probably will have this. It's just mainly for the turn meter fill. So the turn meter increase effects applied to this to allies are boosted by what, 21% here. So just a level 9 book. So I just want him to get a little bit more turn meter from his A2 here. And if you guys were to take a blessing on him, it's probably going to be something like Lightning Cage. Now that's the only kind of blessing that kind of stands out for me. Let me know in the comments below if you guys see a blessing that kind of stands out for you in terms of what to use. I'm kind of interested to see how it would work with Cracking Roots. Would it deal more damage against Stone Skin? I guess it's easy enough to test, so we could do that in a bit here. But yeah, so that's my general build for him, my general recommendations. Let's take him into some content, and I want to test out a couple things first because bomb champions aren't something that gets covered too often. So I just want to make sure that we have a better understanding of what we need to do. All right, so I want to test him out as a baseline, what his bombs damage can do. So I have him in the lead with his aura here. So we're going to consistently have his aura at play. So let's see how his A2 works here against this wave on Doom Tower. Let's check it out. So he places it, no issues here, everybody lands, and then he gets the turn meter here. There's 5 enemies, so that's probably going to help. So you can see that we got the 125% turn meter, and that was enough to give us an extra turn. And now we're going to be able to go into this detonation reduction ability. Let's do that. Okay, so 40,034. So we just have to keep that in mind here. All the bomb damage should be the same. 40,034. Okay, so 40,034. That's what we're working with here. Let's try again. This time, I'm going to use my Sifi. I'm going to buff him up. My Sifi has a 9-piece protection set for this test. So she's going to be giving 3 buffs, which gives him plus 15% damage from the protection set. So let's do that. So you can see 3 buffs there. So technically, his damage should be boosted by 15%. Let's see how much damage his bombs do now. All right, this time we missed 1, but we still land on 5 enemies, so our turn meter comes back. Let's use the A3 to reduce the detonation time. All right, so I'm going to slow it down 1 time speed. See how much these damage ticks for. 40,034. So it looks like there was no benefit there from the 9-piece protection set. Now, Kroz did take the extra turn, so he did run through the buffs before the first bomb went off. So I don't know if that's a factor or not, but we can test that as well. All right, in this scenario, we're not going to use this A3 detonator. We're just going to use the A1 here. We do have 3 buffs still on Kroz. So let's do the detonator here on the A1. And then explodes 40,034 damage. So 9-piece protection deals no additional damage for the bombs. So we confirmed that, so that's nice to see. I want to try another test here, this time with 9-piece feral. Will this work as well? As an extra test, it also tests whether decreased defense will actually do anything for bomb damage as well. My assumption is that it will not, but it's always good to just double check. So here we go. Again, we will go with let's go with the A3 here to reduce the detonation time. All right, pop, 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 39,271. All right, that champion had decreased defense on. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. Let's see what happens against this one. This champion did not have decreased defense on, and the bomb damage is the same. Let's try the A1 detonation on this one, and the bomb damage is the same. And the bomb damage is the same. So 39,271 on this one. And my Stag Knight is in a 9-piece feral set. My Stag Knight also has cruelty, so I did reduce the enemy defense by 1%. So that actually didn't do anything. And with the 9-piece protection set from the Sifi, the damage is actually higher with the bombs. I'm not entirely sure why that is the case, to be honest. Okay, apologies guys. I know exactly why the bomb damage was a little bit different with Sifi, is because Sifi has the banner. So the banner is making the extra attack aura slightly higher on Kroz here. So you can see here Kroz running by himself. When he triggers the bombs, it's 39,271. So that's his baseline damage for the bombs with his aura. So now we know that. So we know that 9-piece protection, 9-piece feral do not affect bomb damage at all. We know decreased defense does not affect bomb damage at all. Let's check out what weaken does and see what kind of damage we can put out with weaken. All right, so we're back in here with Lydia. Let's see her at work here. So we got decreased defense and weaken on everybody. We know decreased defense doesn't do anything. She's in a 9-piece feral set, but we know feral set does not do anything. So turn meter, get the extra turn. Let's see them all pop off. 49,000. So with weaken, it's popping off here a little bit more. You get a little bit of a boost, about 9,000 or 10,000, close to 10,000 extra damage, or roughly 25% damage boost from the weaken. It's good to know, good to verify, and it's good to see that it works as we assumed. All right, so we're on Bommal 100 right now. So we're going to fight him, see how much damage these bombs can do. We do have weaken being applied here from Arbiter or Lydia. We do have plus attack here, so not a bad situation for him. Let's see what we can do here. We're going to go with the bombs. And since it's just him, we don't get the extra turn, so that kind of sucks. We got Ethos here just for wave clear and all that. Let's see what we can do here. So his A1's going to reduce the timer, 221,000. I mean, and then all the bombs are gone. That's the thing. So now we have to cycle through back to his bomb ability. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, this is it's not gonna work. So you see him land 2 bombs from his A2. They went off after he went in with his ally attack with Necrit. So they triggered him. You know, we chopped off like a third of his life, and now we have no bombs. So yeah, it's definitely not gonna work as well as somebody like Nishak who has bombs on the A1. And then you can kind of take advantage of that with like ally attackers and stuff like that. So definitely not a team like this would not work against Bommal, but I mean, he gives you a pretty good head start in terms of overall damage, but right now, yeah, he's not going to really do too much here going forward. So in terms of a Bommal champion, he is viable, but just not in the same kind of team that would work with Nishak. Just wanted to make sure that, you know, he kind of still does damage against Bommal while we were in Doomtire there. Let's jump into the arena now like we were trying to do. All right, let's see what we can do against this team here. We're just going to go full turn meter boost, and then we're going to make sure that our Kroz is going to get a turn. And then, yeah, we'll see what he can do. Okay, so we go first. We're going to boost, boost, boost. All right, here comes the bombs. I guess we can only land bombs on Mikey here. Placement, so there we go. And then right into the full cleanse. So that's going to be a problem here because you see what happened is that he places the bombs and he doesn't get a turn right away. So that leads you to run into situations where somebody can cleanse it off. So we got a big problem here. That's not going to work out very well. Even though we landed on 4 enemies, so that's 100% turn meter boost. Against a reasonably fast team, 100% turn meter boost is not enough to get you an extra turn. So we have to keep that in mind here. It might work against slower, maybe PvE content where you are, you know, mildly progressed and your champions are pretty quick. But against like arena teams, it's going to be really hard for you to get an extra turn with just 100% turn meter. I mean, we can try here against this single target champion and see if we can get a turn meter against him. I don't think we can do it because we only have 1 champion to land bombs on. Yes, definitely not enough. You can kind of see the turn meter here, only halfway through. It's definitely not enough. All right, let's duck out of this one. It's definitely not enough. Let's try again. Maybe find a slower team and then see if it works. I mean, this team, we can try. I think we're going to have a hard time against this Fabian. Maybe we're fast enough. I don't know. Maybe we're fast enough. He has maybe a supersonic set here. Let's see if we can get it. Nope, no supersonic set. Okay, let's land the bombs here. So we landed on 4 enemies. We got the turn meter boost, and we still didn't get an extra turn. So this leaves everything open to get cleansed off by this Ancora here. I mean, we can't really stop it. I don't really want to use the. I don't want to reduce the turn meter. Sorry, the turn duration on the stone skin here. So I'm just gonna push back or apply weaken, I guess. See, same situation here happen again. Ancora comes in with the cleanse before the bombs goes off. So yeah, definitely not ideal. So I'm looking through these teams here, and basically the only ones that this kind of champion or this kind of situation with Kroz would work on is a champion with no way to cleanse off any debuffs. So that would be ideal. And of course, we need to go first too. So yeah, it's definitely not something that's easy to do. Let's see if we can apply it here. And didn't work out. Okay, 55k, and then we just lost our guy. Yeah, pretty strong champion, this Gaspard guy. So anyways, we saw the bombs go off 55k each against that Armans. And of course, bombs won't work against Marichka. And you know, you can see half the teams here have Marichka. We have a cleanser here with Freya. Farbstop's team is faster than my team. We have Marichka here. So just not the best teams to test any of this on. We can test out Cobru's team here. I think we're faster than his Sifi, so we can try to get in first. Yep, we are. So we're just gonna boost up, land the bombs. You saw what happened there, right? We had four targets landed, and we didn't get our extra turn, and we got locked out. So a lot of bad things are happening. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Can our A1 go through Stone Skin? Can it trigger through Stone Skin? That's what I would like to know. Okay. Let's see if the A1 can trigger. We know this can work, but let's see if the A1 can trigger through Stone Skin. I mean, it probably wouldn't, but let's see. Oh my goodness, it does. It does work through Stone Skin. So that's kind of one thing that's really good about him. And then it looks like his passive proc, so we got an extra 20% chance to get an extra turn. So now it's our turn again. So let's see if this will work through block debuffs, I guess. The block active skills won't work, but let's see if the detonation reduction will work. And it does work. So, that's cool. I wasn't entirely sure how that would work, but hey, that's good to know. I mean, the A1 is nice. The A1 does kind of counteract that the turn meter fill is not enough to get you the extra turn to go right into the A3, so you can reduce the detonation timing by 1. The A1 kind of alleviates that, but honestly, it doesn't really because it's only single target. And I think in this fight, it's one of those situations where it just kind of works out, right? Like we're locked out, we don't have too many options, so we use our A1, and the A1 works, even against Stone Skin champions. So that's really, really nice. So you can see here we get locked out. I mean, we can push back turn meter a little bit, go into the boost. Pretty nasty there. That obviously the Freya pops off and kills him off. That's really nice. And then we get an extra turn, right? We get a turn right away. So yeah, we can, kill this guy off. Pop, pop. Kind of nice. See what else we can do. She's gonna get a turn. She's gonna die. Well, that's pretty nice. I don't know. I'm not too sold on this, to be honest. And I think this Rotos is not properly geared out because he probably should be able to one shot the Kroz on the extra turn that he got. So I'm not too sold on that. Let's see what else we can test this against. The other thing you could do, I guess, to neutralize the cleanser is to bring in a lockout champion yourself. So we can try it this way and see if we can lock them out so that they can't cleanse off. But ideally, you bring in some kind of champion with the lockout that doesn't have... Sorry, let's redo this. I was saying, ideally, you bring in a lockout champion that doesn't have a strip. So, for example, somebody like Fabian might not be the best because you might strip off the stone skin because bombs do more damage against stone skin and all that. Okay, and the Ancora resisted our, our lockout attempt. That kind of sucks. No way to stop it, I guess. So she comes in with the cleanse and all things are bad. So you can kind of see here, real world kind of situation. Fabian, I think, is missing one piece of gear, but he still went in turn. That's fine. Okay, let's try one more time. Same kind of strategy here. We're going to try to lock out their cleanser. Hopefully the bombs will actually do something here. And does not... We did not have enough accuracy. Man, that is a little bit something here. All right, let's try again. We're going to bring in Lady Kimmy here for the plus accuracy so we can actually debuff this team. And yeah, plus accuracy will be helpful for Kroz as well for his bombs. Since we're not running any blessing or anything like that. So we got increased accuracy, increased speed here. So let's go. Increase attack and then lockout. Does it work? Yes. So Freya gets locked out here. So that's what we want because we don't want the cleanser cleansing the bombs. And we still aren't able to land the bombs on the Freya because of accuracy, lack of accuracy there. All right, let's see what we can do here. Okay. We actually have enough. We actually didn't straight up die to everything here. So we get a chance to place the A3. Let's do the A3. And there we go. We killed the Lady Noelle, which is nice. And yeah, let's see here. Will the bombs go through the petrification? It does. Big time. That's nice. Okay. See what else we can do here. Nice. Okay, and transforms, and we're dead. uh, yeah, I'm not. I mean, obviously we're fighting against Nice here, but I mean, I'm just showing you guys a way. One of the ways you guys can use him, increase accuracy to bring his accuracy up. Obviously, best with increased accuracy and then increased attack, and then you can have a way to shut down the cleanser, so the cleanser doesn't remove all your buffs. But there's just one way that Kroz is just easily countered, right? Obviously, you can't place his bombs if they are faster than you. So, for example, if they're faster than you and they lock you out, for example, and or they place block debuffs with like CP, then you're not going to be able to use Kroz's bombs. So that's all going to be really, really sucky. So let's try against this team here, see what we can do. Lock out some of them. Kind of nice. It's a placement, which is nice. That's probably the best thing about his whole kit. And we get an extra turn, and we get a reduction here, which is kind of nice. And petrify you. Dead. That's pretty nice. Oh my god, we actually got a win. So, actually got a win. But the big thing here was that the team was locked out. We were faster. We had the turn meter boost. We had the accuracy. We landed all our stuff. We even cycled back to our A3 once. And I'm not even sure if this is properly geared out because that was a really slow Lazurius, I think. But hey, we got to win, and that's one way you can kind of win with this type of team with Kroz. Just wanted to show you guys that here. Anyways, guys, this is my Kroz Wallbreaker. He doesn't have a blessing or anything like that. We have a basic relic on him as well. We do have some pretty good gear, but obviously I'm facing some pretty good teams in this content creator test server. I would say he's kind of underwhelming, to be honest. I'm not too sure who would actually use him as an endgame player. I don't really see him fitting into any teams. He's definitely not super viable for like endgame arena, for example, at least from what I can see. I would much rather use a champion like Nishak. Yes, he has affinity issues, but he has that guaranteed extra turn, whereas Kroz does not have a guaranteed extra turn from the A2. I think this is the biggest problem for Kroz. You really needed this bomb debuff to be protected so that it cannot be cleansed off, because he has the risk of not being able to have the bombs go off, or have perhaps this 25% be for each bomb, not for each enemy, so that he can, exceed 100% turn meter boost, which would have been better. The other option is to have him steal turn meter instead of just gaining turn meter. If he stole turn meter, it basically gives him a more opportunity to get an extra turn. I think if he had something like that, his kit would be a lot more viable, because we do see Nishak being used in Arena. Why would this guy not be used in Arena as well if he had a similar mechanic? Well, he is quite worse than Nishak in Arena because, like I said, Nishak has that extra turn mechanic. He also doesn't have the same PvE or boss content ability as Nishak as well, because Nishak places poisons once his bomb detonates, which gives you some additional value against bosses. He also has an A1, which is way better against bosses compared to Kroz here. Kroz's A1 is very much an arena A1, and it also has a condition where it kind of helps if you don't get an extra turn, or if you get locked out in the process of getting your turn to try to get back your A3. So the A1 does kind of help in that regards. It makes up a little bit for the weak A2, but I guess the A2 has to be a little bit weaker in some way to Nishak, because Nishak is on hit. This is a place, right? So they have to balance it out somehow, and the way they balanced it out was basically giving him a conditional extra turn, which is not going to happen often unless you're grossly outmatching the enemy team in arena in terms of overall speed. And his passives, I mean, 20% chance to activate instant turn, that's kind of nice, but honestly it's not super necessary, especially if you're running like a proper arena team. But yeah, overall I think it is very, very underwhelming. I'm not too sure who would actually benefit from this champion. Perhaps you could use him for Bommal as an option, but it seems like there's much more options nowadays to handle Bommal than it was in the past. Like, for example, Lady Annabelle can do Bommal by herself with the right gear. It just takes a long time. I think the only use case for this guy would probably be Faction Wars. Now, I don't have a great Ogryn Faction Wars lineup, so for me, it feels like I probably will go for this guy. Like, if you can look at my Faction Wars characters here, like, oh, sorry, this is a test server. Some of these champions I don't actually have, but I wouldn't have too much. Like, I have Stock, I have Virgo, and these guys kind of carry. But I think I would probably add Kroz in here as well. He does bring a little bit of CC, which could be okay for the waves as well. And in wave content or PvE content, you have a better chance of getting the extra turn back because you're much faster than the enemy waves. So I think Kroz, for me, at least as an endgame player, probably go into the faction wars. But I can't see this guy being very beneficial to like early or mid game players, like in terms of progression. He's not going to help you out, other than the gear that he requires doesn't really fit other champions. So for Kroz, you can build him out with just attack. So for example, he's one of the few, instances where you're going to use attack percentage gloves, um, and the flat attack amulet. So he technically doesn't take the best gear from your best nukers or to do good damage or decent damage. So you technically could, gear him out with kind of spare or unused parts. So I could see that being okay for like newer players, but honestly, I just don't think this guy is going to be a huge help for a lot of players out there. And I think even for endgame, unless your Ogren tribes are really struggling, I think he's probably not even going to be that great at all, and most likely a vault champion. So that's just my 2 cents on everything. You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Kroz Wallbreaker here based on what you guys see in this playtest. As always, happy to hear your feedback on this champion and on the showcase. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching until the end, guys. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.